Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? Zinno, great to see you last week in New York, man. How are you?
Matt, you know, I got to tell your audience, in case they didn't notice, you're 1,000 times better looking in person than I would have ever imagined. You being good looking was at least plus 600 on the money line, and you just blew it away, man. That was a great win for you.
You should have seen me when I had hair. Some people like the bald head beard look, but I preferred my lettuce. It was good while it lasted. It just only lasted about 23 years of my life.
I know. I'll never be not jealous of dudes with good hair. It's just one of those things. As somebody who doesn't have a lot of hair left, I just, it's inherently, there are certain things God gives and certain things God takes away, and the Lord took us, and He didn't decide to give any back.
Yeah, but you got a magnificent jawline, Zinno, and good arms, too. This is a weird segment, how this has started. I'll tell you, I'm not going to lie.
Well, listen, I try to spice it up for a little bit for the New Orleans audience.
Hey, speaking of great jawlines, Kirk Cousins has a great jawline, and he's the new quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons. I just shared the division odds. Falcons minus 150 favorites. Is that right? Is that fair?
Yeah. I mean, look, a lot of it based off the quarterback position alone. I mean, the Falcons have the best quarterback in the division by a plumb mile. It's not even close. There's an argument. The Falcons have maybe the second best quarterback in the NFC. Think about it. After Dak, if Dak Prescott's one, I would probably put Dak at one. I think Dak's really good. Just as let's not talk about wins and playoff wins. Stop, because that's predicates this whole Kirk Cousins arguments by dumb Falcons fans. And I literally said this. I was on 9 to 9 this morning, and I literally told the audience, I said, I think the Falcons fans are the dumbest fans in the NFL because of their takes on Kirk Cousins. The idea of, we're not talking about playoff wins. We're talking about quarterback competency. So after Dak, I would put Kirk number 2. Maybe it's a toss-up of Jalen Hurts. If you want to put Jalen Hurts ahead of him, okay. But at this point, he's better than Stafford. He's definitely better than Purdy. He's better than Jordan Love. Who else is out there that makes you think that they're better than Kirk Cousins? So if you have the second best quarterback or third best quarterback in the NFC, not only should you be the favorite to win the division, you should be one of the top 2 favorites to win the whole damn conference.
Zinno, how different is the conversation with Atlanta with Cousins today and the Saints with Derek Carr a year ago? Because it feels like they're total parallels.
Well, you and I talked about this. Look, prior to last year with Derek Carr, I would not stand for any Derek Carr slander. Kirk Cousins and Derek Carr, I was not having any of it. I told people that, those two guys are completely underrated. They're both really good quarterbacks, and they get a bum rep and a bum reputation for a lot of reasons that aren't theirs. And then I saw Derek Carr in a Saints uniform, and I put more of that on Dennis Allen than anything else, but it's hard to defend him now after what happened last year. There was literally no passing game. I mean, there were high school teams that had a better passing game in the state of Louisiana than what the Saints put together last year. Right. And that even with a bad head coach who's a defensive coach, still the offense needs to be able to do something competent because of quarterback play, and they couldn't. Taysom Hill was more effective than Derek Carr was last year. So that's a big hit. I think the track record is a little bit better for Kirk Cousins. I think that the system that Cousins has ran throughout his entire career is obviously more prolific when we talk about, the tree. How annoying is that, by the way? Look at the coaching tree from Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan, the coaching tree. But anyway, so we're going to find out if Zach Robbins is the real deal, right? I mean, the new OC for the Falcons, who was the play caller in LA. But yeah, I think there's a little bit more of a pedigree. Look, and you can't argue with 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns every year. Now, Derek Carr was good, but he wasn't 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns on average every year when he was with the Raiders. So I think Kirk Cousins is a little bit of a step ahead of him. Primetime games and playoff wins and wins against playoff teams aside. Stupid argument. This is a guy that really is prepared to take this team offensively to the next level. And the only thing that's really going to hold him back is if the injury bug pops up.
Why do you downplay the playoff record and performance?
Because, I mean, listen, Peyton Manning, it took him 9 years to win a Super Bowl. And he got beat every single year in the playoffs by Tom Brady. I don't understand. And then he won one, and we stopped having that conversation. I downplay it because it's asinine. Mark Sanchez has 4 playoff road wins. Should we sign him?
Okay,
Joe Flacco
has
more playoff wins than any free agent quarterback. Should we have signed him? What does that mean? Like, there is no predictability of who you're going to face in the playoffs, what the venue is, what the weather is. Like, there's no control over any of this. They're all random occurrences that nobody has any idea are going to happen until they do. And, oh, by the way, Kirk Cousins in his last playoff game went for like 272 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and 145 quarterback rating, and they lost the game. So who's, like, did he play? Like, we're going to sit here and blame him because the Giants scored more points on a bad Vikings defense that we knew was bad all year long? Like, what are you doing here? Like, Joe Flacco, I covered them both while won a playoff game, going 4 for 13 with no touchdown and interception, and the Ravens won the game. Like, it is such a flawed, maniacal, bad argument that lazy fans make who don't want to use this thing called Google and just look at freaking stats and numbers. It drives me insane. Like, it's lazy fandom. There's no other word for it. Like, if you want to be a hot take artist, at least go get a fact. Like, at least go look up a stat to back it up. Like, they don't even do that much. I just saw the stat on ESPN. He's 1-5 in the playoffs. It's just stupid.
I love getting you fired up. Mark Zinno is with us, 92.9 The Game. Hey, by the way, you mentioned that maybe Atlanta should be the second favorite in the entire NFC. Well, they're sixth. Niners, Cowboys, Lions, Eagles, Packers, then the Falcons. Same odds as the Rams to win the NFC. What's your thoughts on that pecking order there?
Niners,
Cowboys, Lions, Eagles,
Niners,
Packers,
Cowboys,
then
Lions.
Falcons.
I'm still going to tell you the Lions. I think are overrated and overpriced from a betting standpoint. That doesn't mean I think they're bad. I just think they're overrated and overpriced from a betting standpoint.
Okay.
That's a different conversation, just so we're clear. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, I think when you look at it, the lack of Falcons' past success plays into why they are where they are, right? Like, there's, a lot of lines are set based off of previous success. That's why you see long shots being long shots until they actually win something, right? Like, look at the Jaguars. The Jaguars 2 years ago were priced like a long shot. They win the division last year. They were one of the only minus money favorites to win their division, which was ludicrous because all of a sudden they won a playoff game that they shouldn't have won against Brandon Moron Staley and the Chargers. So, they got overpriced because of that. The Falcons have no history to speak of, and so all you're doing is basing it off projections that their offense is going to be really, really good. So that's why they are where they are right now. But again, I mean, objectively, like, Kirk is better than Brock Purdy. Kirk is better than Jared Goff, right? Like, I mean, I'm not, me, I'm not a Falcons fan per se. I just live here in Atlanta. Like, I'm a Giants fan. So, this isn't fanboy stuff here, but objectively, he's better than those two guys. He's better than Jordan Love. So if again, if he's not the second or third best quarterback in the conference, I don't know who is. But from that measure, you put yourself in the conversation from a betting standpoint. Look, and I said this today too. Here's the downside to the Falcons doing all the moves that they had, right? Like, there is literally zero excuse for Raheem Morris and Zach Robinson. Like, the minimum. If Arthur Blank, the owner of the Falcons, last year, and he told us this at the end of the year, after he decided to gutlessly fire Arthur Smith. I'm a big Arthur Smith guy. But after he decided to fire him, said, well, making the playoffs was the standard. Like, this owner needs to come out right now and tell everybody, after the money he just spent in this offseason, and the trades they just made, that 10 wins and a playoff berth or the division, are the standard. Like, they can't win this division going 9-8 because that means they could have lost the division. Sure. Because somebody's going to be right there with them. So 10 wins is the bare minimum. Now, if somebody wins 12, they can't control that, right? They can only control they playing them twice, right? If they win 12 and they lose twice to them, then there's an argument they could have controlled it and won 10 games or won 12 games rather. But so they have to at least win 10 games and or the division. There's no wiggle room. There's no wiggle room there. If you don't, I'm not going to call the season a non-success. I will say they underperformed. Dynamically underperformed. Like, a home playoff game is not really a negotiable at this point. It better happen. It
feels this is like the same conversation we were having about the Saints a year ago when they signed Carr. I mean, it is cut and paste the same conversation we're having here a year ago, and we see how it went in New Orleans. So, real quick, the Saints haven't done much. Willie Gay, Nathan Peterman, Cedric Wilson, Stanley Morgan. Today, just a bit ago, they added Chase Young. Thoughts on what the Saints have done?
I mean, if I was Saints fans, I just kind of not watch the game and look at the score because it's going to be ugly. Like, there's going to be nothing aesthetically pleasing about watching this team. They're going to play a shit ton of defense. Like, they're going to play a whole lot of defense, you know? Like, they're going to play incredible defense all around, and that's going to keep them competitive in a lot of games. So, you know, I think for the most part, you know, this is a team that is going to be tough to beat, especially in their own building. But they've got to find some level of offense here, Matty. Like, they've got to find some level of ways to be able to put up points. Like, it's one thing to not put up points. It's another thing not to put up points in winnable games or in clutch moments, right? Like, you can score 19 points a game, but, you know, if you score the 20th when the other team only has 18 or 17, your offense looks okay.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, fans are going to call and complain about it in sports radio, like, because that's what they do, and that's understandable. But at the end of the day, you know, if you can win the games you're supposed to win, you know, and look, the Saints still have the mental edge over the Falcons. They always will, right? And it's just kind of the reality of the way it is. I think Falcons fans to a certain extent understand that, and the rivalry is rich, and that's why, because the Saints continue to figure out a way to kind of always beat them when the Falcons needed the most, like they did last year, and scoring 49 points or whatever it was, and then punctuating it in with Jameis at the that was fun for Atlanta, I think, but not really. So, you know, I mean, they kind of have their number, and as far as Falcons fans should be concerned objectively, you still got to beat the Saints. You still got to go over the Saints home. If you don't, then guess what? You know, you're going to be on the outside looking in again, and it's not going to be it's not going to be a good situation for Falcons fans. But on paper, they're a better team than the Saints right now. They just have to go out there and prove it.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.